There was a very famous restaurant called Gusto, in Paris, France. After this boy's mother died, he came to this restaurant in search of work. His name is Alfredo Linguini. Basically, he used to clean the dirt of this restaurant. This is how his days were spent. But one day at the restaurant, the boy cooked an impossibly delicious soup, for a huge event. The restaurant owner is very angry, because he wondered how this guy, who cleans the kitchen, could cook so well. Maybe this time the prestige of his restaurant will go away. But the guests are all very appreciative of this soup. The restaurant owner was shocked to see this. You may have wondered how this boy really learned to cook so well. In fact, none other than a rat taught this boy to cook. Maybe you're even more surprised to hear how a rat can teach a man to cook, or where this rat learned to cook from. Anyway, today I will tell you the story of the friendship between this boy and the rat. If you are an animation movie lover, then I promise you will love this video very much. So let's start the story. The news on TV is that the best chef in Paris is Auguste Gusto. Overnight, he deprived the rest of the restaurant owners of sleep. Not only this, with the help of the book he wrote, you can cook various delicious foods. Then one person said, I don't believe it at all, people can never learn to cook by reading books. Just then the TV news ended. A little later, a rat was seen coming out of the window. Many more rats live together in this city, and they move from place to place in search of food. The name of this rat is Remy. But he has amazing talents. First of all, he is very clever and he can tell the food is good or bad by just smelling the food. Anyway, a rat finds vanilla cake while looking for food. When the rat was about to eat the cake, Remy sniffed and shouted, "Brother, don't eat it." Then he looks around and finds rat poison. That's how he helps his rat friends, and that's why his father is so proud of him. Remy basically likes to eat good food, and he thinks all the time if the engine means the stomach is fine, then the day goes much better. But his father says that it is not right to eat too much, then the engine can stop at any time. Remy always says, "Dad, why can't we steal good food from the kitchen and eat? Why do you always forbid us?" Then his father said, "We are rats but we are not thieves." His father says death is certain if he ever goes near the kitchen and the people. These matters are sometimes argued between the father and son. But Remy thinks they must go to the people. People not only cook good food but they also discover a lot. So he entered a house to steal food. Just then he sees a cooking show on TV. And the name of this chef is Auguste Gusto. Remy takes a bite out of the cake and strawberries, remembering the different types of food. Just then the owner of the house comes into the kitchen and he ran out the window. Later, while he was returning home with a mushroom from the grain field, he meets his brother. The two brothers then climbed onto a huge building to cook food together, but after a while, they were struck by lightning and fell to the ground. Later, he smelled a few fried mushrooms and said, "Look so tasty, but I think if I could add a little saffron, it would taste a lot better." Then his brother says, "Where can you find saffron?" Hearing this, Remy ran to fetch the saffron. He makes his brother stand downstairs and looks for a jar. While searching for the jar, he found a book by Chef Gusto. Then his brother asked him if he can read or not. Remy says, "Yes, I can do a little," but he forbids his brother to tell this to their father. Then he got the jar of saffron. Chef Gusto's show was on TV at that time. At one point Remy learns that Chef Gusto is dead. Remy is very sad to hear this. And just then the housewife wakes up. She then tried to shoot at them with a gun, but unfortunately, bullets did not come out but an umbrella stuck in the barrel of the gun. She then aims and shoots at the rats. The two brothers then started running back and forth. However, suddenly, Remy's brother climbed on the chandelier. Later, as soon as the woman tries to shoot, it was seen that all the bullets of her gun were over. Then she started loading the gun. Meanwhile, Remy raises his hand to save his brother. But poor Remy hangs himself with that chandelier. The woman then aimed her gun and fired for the last time. Shortly after the firing, the roof of the building collapsed and fell down. Hundreds of rats come out of there. In fact, all the rats that lived here never stole food from the house. Only Remy did this kind of unethical activities, whereas everyone else was innocent rats. After being shot, everyone started running back and forth. Everyone ran with their lives, but Remy kept running with the book. Then they started crossing the river through the paddy fields. Even if all the rats get on a boat, Remy can't get on that boat. The woman shot him just as he was about to board the boat. The boat then sailed into a tunnel. Shortly afterward, he lost his entire family. He calls his father but gets no response. After a while, he fell into massive currents. He struggles frantically to keep afloat. Luckily, Remy grabs the book and somehow survives. He then took refuge in a high place in the tunnel. He is eagerly waiting for his parents, siblings, or anyone else to call him. But he can't find anyone in his family. Sitting alone, he reads Gusto's book. Seeing the variety of food inside the book, he feels severe appetite. Then he begins to talk imaginatively, with Gusto's picture inside the book. Gusto says if you want to survive you must get out of here. Why don't you go somewhere upstairs? Remy then goes up the tunnel through the pipe in search of food. After a while, he comes running to a party. Then he sees Butter Bun there. Seeing this, he wants to eat that butter bun. And just then Gusto comes to the imagination and says, "Why are you stealing food? You must remember that you are a cook. Cooks never steal food, rather they cook food for others." Hearing this, poor Remy put the butter bun piece down and started running upstairs once more. One pipe after another, he just kept running. At one point, however, he ran up to the roof. Then he looked at the Eiffel Tower and said, "Oh my God, I've been in Paris for so long." And then he sees Gusto's picture next to him. Remy keeps saying, "You brought me to your restaurant." Then he runs inside the restaurant. He sees that various kinds of food are being cooked in the kitchen. The head chef is taking care of everything. This guy comes here for a job. You already know the boy's name is Alfredo Linguini. Linguini then pulls out a letter and gives it to the head chef. He took the letter in his hand and said, "Well, I'll call you if we need you." A man standing nearby says, "We need a servant boy, and he's the son of Gusto's girlfriend." Now the head chef says, "Okay then, you are given the job of cleaning the kitchen," but he did not open the letter nor read it. Remy was watching all this from above. Gusto then says, "Everyone you see here is part of the kitchen." Remy says everyone might be part of the kitchen, but I don't think this guy can be a chef ever. Gusto then gets angry and says, "Did you forget I wrote in my book that anyone can cook?" While Gusto was saying these things to Remy, Linguini started cooking by mixing different things in the soup. However, in the meantime, Remy hurried down and fell into the basin. Poor Remy somehow runs around the kitchen trying to get to the soup. Remy is in so much trouble. However, he finally reached the soup. On the other hand, Linguini vomits after eating some of his own cooked soup. Later, in the soup cooked, Remy adds all kinds of spices, vegetables, and everything that is needed to make it tasty enough. In a word, he started cooking himself. Just then the boy Linguini sees all these things. The two looked at each other for a while. Meanwhile, the head chef comes to take the soup.